In Game 1, Thunderwolf lost a grueling conquest defense against Sega's Kiting Beastmen. Thunderwolf's Corn could only hold so long, and we're not ultimately able to hang on to the objective in time to win. So, rather than subject you to that game, we'll go immediately to Game 2, where Segas of the ODM clan will be taking the Green Tide. That's right. Facing off against the Vampire Counts of Thunderwolf from the VM clan. Should be an absolute clash here. Quite interesting builds on both sides, as we've got a Goblin Great Shaman leading the way on a Spider, the armor, the weapon strength, the magic, so much to like here. As we've discussed before, we've got plenty of spears as well, Goblin and Orc spears mixed, 8-peak loons, some archers, including Error Boys, Rusty Errors, Ruglud's Armored Orcs, and plenty of Pig Riders as well, with a mix of Savage Boar Boys. And we've got the Broken Tusks mob as well. Looks like Mangy Marauders and Death Creepers as well, both Regiment Renowned Skirmish Cavalry. As for the Vampires, we've got multiple Dread columns of zombies, supported by Crypt Horrors, 2 Unholy Lodestone Corpse Carts, and one of them mounted up by a Necromancer. And then, yeah, some skeleton spears, a blood dragon up on his dragon mount, and some Vargeist as well. Bellbats, flying units, no doubt going to try and disrupt those archers. But both builds pretty well constructed, I would say. The Vampires are going to come up and seize the conquest objective initially, kind of taking up the center of the battlefield here, while the Green Tide falls back to a degree. They're going to try and let their Skirmish Cavalry do a tiny bit of work here. They're not going to be particularly effective, given their low damage output, and, yeah, the healing passive from the Unholy Lodestone and everything else, but the skirmish damage on the Blood Dragon Lord is pretty good. The whole time the Goblin Great Shaman is using his Vindictive Glare. Got Don't Even Try It as well, but mainly Vindictive Glare is just popping off and is slowly skirmishing the Blood Dragon himself, which is obviously the most expensive and threatening thing in the Vampire Count's army. The Vampire Count himself, who would have thought? But yeah, Devils of Schwarzhoff and Vargeist with Terror will be a pretty good dive unit, try and blow up back lines, get some good rear charges here. And they do also have the Hunger passive. It is, I forget when they added that to Vargeist. They didn't always have it, but it does make them moderately more hard to kill, I should say. But yeah, Blood Dragon forced to pop an early Invocation of Nehek to heal himself up. He could also fly around the Necromancer, but it's going to not give him enough healing burst, probably, to sustain here, but just decides to pull back for now. Very strategic tactical retreat here. The Green Tide also gets themselves a nice little hill advantage, although they may not choose to fight on it. Those Orc Boys really should turn around and try and fight on the slope if they can. The trees are maybe going to work in both armies' disfavor, I would say. You know, large units of the Vampire Counts will have a hard time getting through. Meanwhile, the archers, some of their arrows are going to be blocked by the trees here, so both sides kind of not getting the best benefit of being in the trees. Even like the Vindictive Glare there, one of the missiles hits the trees, so it's a little bit less power than it otherwise would be, but the whole time this maneuvering is happening, at least the Skirmish Cavalry is shooting. This infantry skirmishers, these guys are having a little bit tougher of a time getting set and actually shooting here, but the one Orc Airboy isolated over on the far side is going to get absolutely jumped here by the Devils and Regiment of Renowned Hounds. They have anti-large as well. Savage Orc Boar Boy is going to get in here, try and bail out their error brethren, but yeah, it's going to pull an Invocation of Nehek, actually. Savage Orc Boar Boys trading really simply cost-effectively there. More Orc Boar Boys moving in as well with their anti-large. Should trade very well, kind of countercharging the Vargeist here. Ultimately, we're not able to protect the Air Boys. Let's see, maybe to get chased off by some bats here. But the rest of the build, somewhat stable. We got some bats crumbling over in the other corner here as the zombies and Crypt Horrors kind of push up the hill. And yeah, let's see where they maybe try and go. Might try and come support this flank engagement here. One of the Vargeists also crumbling out. We're going to have some zombie summons kind of bog things down. Another Vindictive Glare pops. Very solid damage over time on the Blood Dragon. And it's a nice, consistent way of damaging him without really having to risk too much in a big melee engagement. Speaking of which, while popping at a very opportune time with Green Tide, these Orc Spears valiantly doing their best Empire impression, holding the line here against the zombie horde. And, yeah, of course, the Goblin Great Shaman himself getting some good benefit as he takes down a few of those Crypt Bros. And the Death Creepers as well, just about used up the rest of their ammunition. I'm not sure value-wise how much they've actually done. Yeah, almost 400 value. It's kind of what I expected. Armor Piercing of the Mangy Marauders should give them a little bit more. Yeah, they're almost up to 800 value. Just shows difference in armor piercing damage versus not. I think these guys have more unit models as well, so they just do more damage overall. Flying troops of the vampires kind of pull back. They're going to reassess, kind of reform here. See what they can do. Nice breath attack landing and just brutalize a unit of goblins. Literally like 100 goblins die probably in one breath there. Yeah, finally the Orc Arrows as well are able to get a good firing position, start using some of their ammo, shooting into this engagement, really just pin cushioning the Crypt Bros, but not to be outdone, the Blood Dragon pops his Helm of Discord, charges in to support this melee engagement and try and win pretty decisively, and they are winning fairly decisively. The Goblin Great Shaman might want to try and pop out of this if he can, but Wise popped on the other side, and the archers focus on the Blood Dragon, who is forced to once again pull away here. Unfortunately, the Greenskins don't have any way to punish him right now, so he can just pull back and heal, and then re-engage, and has plenty of healing cap space left, but at least gives the Green Tide some time. Try and work down some of these other units here. Speaking of time, the Vargheists moving into the back line, looking like they're maybe going to drop on this block of archers here, try and take them out with a beautiful breath attack. Hits the 8-peak loons there. Nice little response. It seemed like maybe that one wasn't overcast, didn't do nearly as much damage. But, yeah, the Vargheists kind of come out a little bit wide here. The arrows are going to take the opportunity to turn and try and shoot them. Yeah, they're going to get a couple volleys off there. A little bit of damage in. Meanwhile, the front line slugging match is going to continue. Goblin Great Shaman moving through, supporting his cap. Just, you know, just tangling some zombies right now, trying to take down whatever he can. Bellbats over there getting chased. They're chasing something off, but they're getting crumbled. But yeah, here we go. The Vargheists are going to try and land. There are some boar boys around to try and protect. In particular, the Broken Tusk Mob are completely healthy still, so I'd imagine we'll see them. Yep, get the countercharge order in here. And archers will have taken some damage, but boar boys can move in, lance down some of these Vargheists, try and hold them back. Yeah, they do manage to at least push them away for the time being. Stabilize most of the archers. Yeah, the Rusty Heirs took a beating there, but their leadership will allow them to hang in. Rugloods, armored, are basically untouched still. Savage Orc Air Boys also doing just fine. So, you know, army damage-wise, basically, you know, balanced power neck and neck right now. Ooh, beautifully timed takeoff there. Actually caused a little bit of a swing and a miss on that Vindictive Glare. Both corpse carts also still alive, getting some excellent support value. Devils of Schwarzhofen managed to find an isolated, weakened Savage Boar Boy. They're going to take him down, but taking lots of arrows in response. We've got some Gobbo Spears kind of hanging around. They're not going to be good for much. Probably get tear-routed instantly, but they'll stand here and look mildly threatening. Yeah, the rest of the Vargheists getting pinned against the corner of the map here by the Boar Boys and taken out. But you would, as we look to this engagement here, put your eyes up to this UI element up at the top. The tickets are slowly ticking in Thunderwolf's favor here, as the vampire counts have been able to hold that objective, and yeah, Green Tide hasn't dispatched any units to go try and seize the objective or threaten it in any way, but it's starting to get to the point where they're going to need to go capture it pretty soon. And let's see if the vampires start pulling some units back. Yeah, it looks like Blood Dragon, the Devils of Schwarzhofen, really should just move back to defend the objective as soon as, yeah, as soon as Seagaz realizes that he needs to take it to win here. I don't think he's going to be able to get through all these units in time. The Crypt Horrors, especially with the generating of the Corpse Cart, it's going to be reasonably tough to take down, even if you get them to crumble. You know, we've got the Tithe Zombies here as well, just absolutely eating so much damage. But right now, it doesn't seem like Seagaz has actually realized, but it's 600, so he's got a little over 2 minutes to try and take it. Does look like he's throwing some weakened units back there to at least start to contest, but ultimately, he's going to have to get, like, all his cavalry over there. Broken Tusk Mob, they are, no doubt, a great anti-large unit, but the Devils plus the Dragon together is going to be a lot for them to have to deal with. So they themselves, I don't think, will be able to take this. They do get the Death Creepers kind of moving in for a little bit of support. Might get some poison and not much for melee. They do have 29 melee defense, at least. Yeah, a tiny little 11 charge bonus. But yeah, even the Crypt Horrors now at this point detaching, kind of just leaving the Corpse Carts as roadblocks. Going to move back to the objective and try and take it. Death Creepers with the stock are able to get on the objective here. Another Vindictive Glare popping on the Blood Dragon Lord. They move in. Even just screening the Broken Tusk Mob away at this point is good, but definitely, you know, targeting them, the most threatening unit in the local area. Try and just get them away at least. Skirmish Cavalry shouldn't be much to take out in melee. Quick charge ought to do the trick. And I say that, Death Creepers, as we saw, they did actually have some melee defense, but the Helm of Discord will take care of that. They should be routed in relatively short order, although the Green Tide continuing to bring more bodies onto the objective. See a summoned zombie here blocking the path of the Broken Tusk Mob. Devils of Schwarzhofen also move in. I'll kind of highlight the square here so you can see the capture area is pretty small. Got to get the units basically right on top of the flag in order to continue securing the objective, and there's only 10 seconds left. And that's it. I don't think the Greenskins are going to be able to take it at this point. Only one Boar Boy was able to make it in on time. And Thunderwolf secures a win, even though I think he ultimately would have lost the battle there against what Seagaz had left. I don't know. It's possible he could maybe get weird leadership route, but even just, you know, the Goblin Great Shaman plus some support units is really tough to handle for what he had left. The very weakened Blood Dragon Vampire, so Thunderwolf taking the win on Conquest tickets. Ultimately, this is one of the battles where I do wish sometimes that Conquest had a little bit of a higher ticket limit. Like, I know it would kind of affect other factions in weird ways when you're trying to, like, as we saw, you know, in the last game, defend against a kite, for example, and just, you know, try and hold the objective for the entire time. Works against you in that instance, but in this instance, it works against the other side where, you know, Seagaz ultimately winning the battle just because, you know, tactically he chose to pull back, kind of created some space that gave Thunderwolf extra time to hold the objective. And, you know, Thunderwolf's build here being vampire counts, just generally kind of very sticky and hard to kill. This makes it so that, you know, fighting way away from the objective leads to the ticket victory there. So credit to Thunderwolf for playing it how he should. Credit to Seagaz as well. Did a very good job of, you know, like I said, winning local engagements and just generally had a very well-constructed build. It's not always an easy matchup, you know, given the leadership interactions here, but Seagaz, I really like the use of the Goblin Great Shaman, just apply very consistent pressure to the enemy Lord. Yeah, really good value as well. 4,000 damage value, 21,000 damage dealt. So even besides just blasting the Lord with the Vindictive Glare, the Spider Mount also puts in some serious work. Yeah, I mean, Orc Spear Boys with like 260 kills, 560 value. That is just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You know, Rusty Airs, Orc Air Boys, Ruglud's Armored Orcs can get some pretty good value as well, shooting at various things. And the supporting Boars ultimately didn't do a ton of damage in and of themselves, but were able to trade decently well. Yeah, the Mangy Marauders too, when their ammo is used efficiently, can be quite good. But a lot of inflated value from healing, obviously, for the Vampire counts. Taking a look at their build, I mean, value-wise, Seagaz definitely won, but at the same time, It is Conquest, so the tickets do matter. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.